Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So in this one, I wanted to do a quick little mock draft of the first 10 picks. Now, obviously, the real draft is so far away, but at the same time, I love talking about these prospects. I love diving into the draft, diving into the future, and I think it also opens up some really good discussions down below in the comment section. So please, drop your mock draft down below. I cannot wait to check it out. It's going to be so much fun. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump right in. So if the season were to end today, the Detroit Lions would finish with that first overall pick, that coveted first overall pick. And in this mock draft, I have the Lions going with defensive end from Michigan, Aidan Hutchinson. Coming in at 6'6", 265, Hutchinson would provide the Lions with 5 immediate things the second he steps into that locker room. The ability to rush the passer, stop the run, and set the edge. He would provide incredible leadership for that Detroit team, and he would give them toughness. He would give them toughness on the defensive side of the football, and that's something that I really feel like the Lions need. Not to mention he's a beautiful fit for what the Lions want to do, that 3-4 multiple style of defense. He could come in as that stand-up edge rusher. I feel like it would be a seamless transition. He's wrecking the sport of college football right now with 58 total tackles, 13 sacks, and 15.5 tackles for loss. Are you kidding me? In 13 games? Keep in mind, there's still games left to be played. He's a hometown kid, grew up in Michigan, played his college ball at Michigan, and think about this for a second. He's 21 years old. He's 6'6". He's that big, this productive, this good, this early. 21 years old, insane upside, has so much room to get better. I think this pick makes so much sense on numerous levels here. Aidan Hutchinson to the Lions. With the second pick in this mock draft, we got the Houston Texans on the clock here, and they actually have the same overall record as the Jacksonville Jaguars and the same remaining strength of schedule. So obviously that's going to play itself out as the season progresses. But right now we're going with the Texans, and I have them selecting defensive end out of Oregon, Kayvon Thibodeaux. Coming in at 6'5", 250, Kayvon Thibodeaux is not only just the best available player, he's the best player on the board, but he's also coming in at a huge position of need. The Texans need help at rushing the passer. They have to get better in that area. Now, I will say this, I really like Jonathan Grenard. What an awesome find that was by this Texans front office, but you need a little bit more help. I feel like they really lack young core pieces, especially on the defensive side of the football. You look at what Kayvon has done this season, 49 total tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 7 sacks in only 10 games. Okay, yet again, Kayvon Thibodeaux lives up to those high expectations that were placed on him back in high school. Remember, he was the #1 overall recruit. He commits to Oregon, he heads up to Eugene and puts together 3 incredible seasons. For 3 years, he was reliable, dependable, and super productive. Home run pick for the Texans. I love it. Next up at spot number 3, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going tackle from Alabama, Evan Neal. Coming in at 6'7", 351, Evan Neal is not only just a massive human being, he's a mauler as well. You take a look at what he's done so far for the Crimson Tide. That offensive line and Nick Saban, really high standards here. 3 straight years of production, 3 straight years of constantly going up against great defensive lines, the Georgias of the world, the Auburns, the Texas A&Ms, the LSUs of the world. Evan Neal has not disappointed. He showed off his versatility, playing guard, playing right tackle, playing on the left side of the O-line, playing on the right side of the O-line. Evan Neal is big, he is strong, he's intimidating, he is versatile. He can play multiple positions here. The #1, or I guess I should say the prize jewel of the Jaguars organization is Trevor Lawrence. We all know this. We have to protect Trevor Lawrence if we're the Jaguars. I like Walker Little. Cam Robinson set to hit the open market. Neal makes so much sense. He can fill in at guard. If you want to play him there, you can play him at right tackle. Whatever you want to do with Evan Neal, he could do it. So I think it makes a lot of sense, not only just in pass protection, but also in run blocking as well. We have Travis Etienne coming back from first-round pick last year. He's coming back from an injury. So if you can add a guy like Evan Neal, you have Travis coming back, not only are you just literally protecting Trevor Lawrence in pass protection, but you're also taking pressure off of Lawrence's shoulders in the running game as well. A nice little influx of talent. I really like this pick. So with the 4th overall pick, we have the New York Jets sitting here on the clock, and I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I sat in this chair for over an hour trying to come up with the perfect draft pick for this Jets team, but here's the reality of the situation, okay? There's 3 to 4 guys on the board currently, even after Thibodeaux, even after Hutchinson, even after Neal, there's still 3 to 4 guys that personally I would view as A+ picks, 10 out of 10. Okay, so everything's kind of interchangeable. It's just all dependent on who you personally want, and I would love to hear your thoughts down below. But with the first pick that the Jets own in the top 10, Currently, we also have that Seahawks pick. I have the Jets going with Kyle Hamilton, safety from Notre Dame. Coming in at 6'4", 220, what doesn't Kyle Hamilton bring to the table? I mean, he has size, speed, he's a great tackler. His range is incredible. He's a true ball-hawking safety. He's a great safety net that you want in the deep parts of the field. He can cover a lot of ground. He's explosive, the burst is there, he can come up and stuff the run, he brings a lot of leadership to a defense. You look at his skill set, it's a versatile skill set. He can line up in different packages. He can line up all over the defense. I feel like this would be a great pick for the Jets. Again, you can go in a bunch of different areas here: interior offensive line, maybe tackle, maybe corner. And to be honest with you, this pick really came down to Kyle Hamilton or Derek Stingley, because if we take a look at this Jets defense right now, it needs work. They are literally dead last in opposing yards per game, opposing points per game, and opposing touchdowns per game. God awful. That is horrible. Okay, so we need some talent. We need some help on the back end of this defense. But the main reasons why I went with Hamilton over a guy in Stingley, and by the way, I still really like Derek. I really like Derek. If Derek's the pick, I'm giving it an A+. He would come in as an awesome selection. But I went with Kyle because of a couple things. Number one, we look at the current roster. We have Bryce Hall, a young up-and-coming corner on the outside who's looked really good this season, and he's under contract for a long time. In the slot, we have Michael Carter, a late-round draft pick in last year's class, who, much like Bryce Hall, we have under contract. I mean, seriously, Michael Carter has done a tremendous job given the circumstances this year, and even Brandon Echols, to a certain degree as well, has flashed on the outside, whereas safety, it's been an ongoing issue. I mean, really since we traded Jamal Adams. Haven't really been able to figure out those two spots. Marcus May hurt. He's done for the entire year, and it unfortunately does not look like he's going to be back with the team moving forward. LaMarcus Joyner was brought in on a one-year contract. He's also out for the year. So projecting into 2022, that safety room, both strong and free safety, is headlined by Ashton Davis. So from a pure depth chart, pure roster perspective, I think safety is the bigger need. Number two, Joe Douglas, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the first point. Joe Douglas has had success drafting corners in the later rounds. Bryce Hall was a 5th round guy. Michael Carter, late round. Brandon Echols, late round. He hasn't really had that much success in the safety department as far as the draft is concerned. And then point number three, the cornerback market in free agency is insane. Off the top of my head, J.C. Jackson, Steven Nelson, Kyle Fuller, Stephon Gilmore. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there. I know the list is longer, but there's a lot of talent there. And same with safety, but I feel like right now safety's the bigger need. We can maybe draft that corner late, possibly if you want to add that extra outside guy, and worst case scenario, we go out and sign JC Jackson to a multi-year deal. We bring in a Stephon Gilmore. So Kyle Hamilton for me is the pick, but again, if it's Derek Stingley on draft night, I'm not going to be mad, not in the least. So with the 5th pick in this mock draft, we're sticking with the Jets here because of that Seattle Seahawks pick, the whole Jamal Adams trade, and the Seahawks only have 4 wins on the year, so right now they're slated in as that 5th spot. And look, we can go in a bunch of different directions here. We can go with Derek Stingley, double down on defense. We can maybe go for a tackle, but I'm going with Tyler Linderbaum, and I get that it might be considered a stretch interior offensive line this early, but I think right now Tyler Linderbaum just makes so much sense on so many different levels. Number one, he fits the zone blocking system perfectly. His athleticism, his ability to move in space, his ability to get to the second level, it's all there. He has production in both pass pro and run blocking. He's received excellent coaching being at Iowa. I mean, this guy has been an absolute stud. He's been an anchor on that Hawkeye offensive line for years now. Okay, so I think he would come in immediately and be the Jets' best option at the center position, and now we can look at a guy in Connor McGovern, who, by the way, is a $10 million cap hit next year. So now he becomes expendable. If the Jets want to part ways with him, they would save $9 million. We can take that $9 million and go use it on an outside linebacker, use it on a right guard, a CB1 or something like that. Or we can keep Connor McGovern, move him to right guard, let Tyler take over at center, and possibly fix 2 vacancies, 2 holes, 2 of the biggest holes on this offensive line with one simple move like this. Keep in mind, AVT was that the Jets drafting Elijah Vera Tucker last season was criticized by a lot of people because he was that interior offensive line. You have the whole argument of positional value, and you can make that same argument with corner and safety with the whole Kyle Hamilton and Stingley thing that we just talked about. But interior offensive line isn't really that high on the positional value list, so JD was actually criticized a lot last year. But I mean, Vera Tucker has came in and done a tremendous job, and not only did we just select Vera Tucker with a top 15 pick, but we traded up for him. We moved up in the first round, giving the Vikings a first round pick and 2/3. For me, I mean, granted the season isn't over, but I would say it's worth it. So you look at other interior offensive linemen that are drafted early, the Ryan Kellys of the world with Indianapolis, Bradbury, Minnesota, Quentin Nelson with the Colts, and of course AVT. I get that it might not be a super sexy pick on draft night, but I definitely feel like Linderbaum would come in and immediately help this football team. Okay, so with the 6th pick in this mock draft, we have the New York Giants on the clock here. I'm going tackle from North Carolina State, Ikem Ekwonu, the 6'4", 320-pound beast. A violent, versatile, big body tackle that is absolutely fantastic in the run game. I feel like right now he would step into this Giants offensive line, add protection, but he would add that run blocking element and really get those guys going. I feel like outside of a Saquon Barkley, who's battled injuries, not just, this season, but throughout the course of his Giants career, they need to add that secondary back. And I feel like whoever you do bring in, whether it's a free agent, a late round pick, a second round pick, whoever it may be, possibly a Breece Hall from Iowa State, something along those lines, when you bring this tackle in, he's going to help out everybody. He's going to help out everybody. Now, of course, they did draft Andrew Thomas. You could keep him at left tackle, or you could put him at right tackle and let Ikem take over at left tackle. And another really cool trait that he brings to the table is that he could also play guard. Okay, so he does give you that added versatility. And Giants fans, let me know down below in the comment section where you stand on Daniel Jones. I've talked to some Giants fans. They say he's not the answer. They're done with him. He's not a franchise quarterback, and they want to move on. And then I've talked to a couple others, and they're like, Daniel Jones isn't really the problem. It is actually the tackle play. The defense, they can't really get after the passer that effectively. We have other holes on this team. We have bigger fish to fry. So if I was the Giants, I think if I wanted to move off of Daniel Jones, I would try to push for a Russell Wilson or something like that. Maybe a veteran quarterback on another team that could be on his way out. You don't know. Washington might be in the quarterback market as well. So it's going to be interesting. Giants fans, I would love to hear your take down below. And next up at spot number 7, we're sticking with the Giants here, and we're going with defensive end from Purdue, George Karlaftis. Okay, this guy is an absolute freak. 6'4", 275. I love watching Karlaftis play. He is big, strong, super powerful, and he will literally wear down tackles as the game goes on. He's a guy right now that can come in and hold his own for all 3 downs. He's not some situational pass rusher that will only be in on 3rd downs. No, not in the least. He can hold his own out there. Okay, he can set the edge. He can help stop the run. Granted, he doesn't have these insane pass rushing numbers like 17 sacks or anything like that. He only has 4.5 sacks and 39 tackles, but he has 10 tackles for loss. That is big time. Okay, the Giants right now have a lot of money invested in this defense, a lot of talent. James Bradbury, Adoree Jackson, Leonard Williams. There's a lot of talent here. I love McKinney at the safety position, one of the most underrated players in the NFL right now. Get a guy in Karlaftis who could win one-on-one on the outside. Next up at spot number 8, we have the Atlanta Falcons here on the clock, and I'm going corner from LSU, Derek Stingley. 6'1", 190, Stingley absolutely excels in the athletic part of the game, whether it's zone coverage, man coverage, covering the deep parts of the field, the short parts of the field, explosion, burst, all those traits, vert. I mean, just being able to hang on the outside with taller wide receivers and then shorter wide receivers. Stingley is really a safety net on the outside. You feel good when he's out there. He has the same presence as a Gilmore, a Ramsey, a Revis, just a true lockdown CB1. It doesn't matter who he's covering, he's going to lock him down. Now, there is one red flag with Derek Stingley, and that's the injuries. Okay, he's only played in 25 games over the span of 3 years with the LSU Tigers, but 15 of those 25 came in year 1, his freshman year. This season, he's only played in 3. But either way, I still really like Derek as a prospect, and I feel like if you pair him up next to guys like AJ Terrell and even Grant at the safety position, all of a sudden, if you're a Falcon fan, you're looking at the secondary as one of the best younger secondaries in the league. I mean, in 1, 2, 3 seasons, they could very well be the best secondary in the league. So exciting stuff. So with the 9th pick in this mock draft, we have the Carolina Panthers here on the clock, and this one was really tough. I couldn't really decide what the Panthers would and should do with this pick. So I kind of have a dual selection here, either quarterback Kenny Pickett or tackle from Mississippi State Charles Cross. Now this is dependent on how the Panthers view this team in the offseason. What's the plan on offense? They just let go of Joe Brady. Sam Darnold has not worked out. He did not look good at all. Cam Newton moving forward, I don't know. Is PJ Walker the future? Probably not. And this Panthers team has been, I mean, there's so much smoke surrounding this Panthers team as far as acquiring a superstar quarterback, whether it's a Russell Wilson who could be on his way out of Seattle, Jimmy G possibly could be on the move, a Deshaun Watson. We don't really know what that situation is looking like. I would assume Watson is moved at some point this offseason. It just feels inevitable. So there's a lot of veteran quarterbacks out there. Obviously, Carolina was super close in acquiring Matt Stafford last season until the Rams swooped in and landed him. So if the Panthers say go out and add Russell Wilson, they go out and add a Deshaun Watson, I could see Charles Cross being the pick here. I mean, Cross absolutely dominates in pass protection, and he's playing in the SEC. I mean, to see what Cross has done in that conference is, I mean, it's so encouraging. But if the Panthers pass on all these veteran quarterbacks and they still have Sam Darnold on the roster, who they still have to pay quite a bit to this upcoming season for 2022, I could see them adding Kenny Pickett, maybe stashing him on the bench for the first couple games, rolling out Sam Darnold with another offensive coordinator. It'll be interesting to see what happens there, but I really feel like this pick comes down to what the Panthers decide to do with that quarterback spot once the offseason arrives. And last but not least, with the 10th pick in this mock draft, we have the Minnesota Vikings here, and I know the background kind of looks pink. I tried my best to make it look purple, but I have them going corner from Florida, Kaiir Elam. 6'2", 195. I feel like Elam right now can step into this Vikings defense and hold his own on the outside. I really like Cam Dantzler on the outside, but Pat Peterson is going to hit the open market. Obviously, you had the unfortunate situation with Jeff Gladney at corner. He was a long-term building block for the future. And right now, I'm looking at this Vikings team. They can win. This Vikings team has the talent to win. Elam can step in immediately, a big, strong corner with a ton of production in the SEC, and do some damage for sure. If we look back to the 2020 season, he had 39 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 11 passes defended against. Absolutely crazy. That was really his coming out party. But man, I feel like the Vikings could definitely use a guy like that. And also with the players on the board, I also feel like it makes a lot of sense. So anyway, that's the mock draft. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Again, I would love to hear your mock down below. It's going to be so much fun to check them all out. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. And as always, go Jets.